PSUs were protective service units. These are the Marines that serve the ambassador.
It's been almost 40 years since U.S. Marine veterans John J. Valdez and Doug Potratz were side by side in Vietnam.
Yeah, this is me with the glasses.
Both were stationed as security guards at the U.S. Embassy in Saigon, where they helped evacuate thousands of people during the final hours of the war. Today, Valdez has invited Potratz into his home in Oceanside. Memorabilia from the war surrounds them. A map of Vietnam above the fireplace. Pictures of their unit taped to the mantel. The two men look through boxes of photos, many taken by Valdez, as the historic airlift known as Operation Frequent Wind was underway.
People were panicky. They really didn't know exactly what was taking place.
As the non-commissioned officer in charge of the Marines guarding the embassy, Valdez would be the last Marine out of Saigon, the last one to step off the embassy roof onto the last helicopter carrying people out.
As the North Vietnamese started moving closer into Saigon, it seems that all the villages and cities on the outlying areas, all the people started coming towards Saigon, the main road that led to Saigon.
Valdez's pictures capture the chaotic scene unfolding in front of them. A helicopter landing on the embassy roof, evacuees lining up to board, people attempting to breach the embassy compound.
Eventually we winded up with thousands and thousands of people that surrounded the embassy. They thought that that was their safe haven. It appeared that way, that that's the only way that they could get out. A lot of people didn't know why people were running or coming, but they were just following each other.
It's me on the vehicle gate. That's me right there.
For Doug Potratz, the war and its final hours made the 21-year-old South Dakota native grow up quickly.
And the people were so scared. I felt so sorry for them. I wish we could have gotten some more out, but we just couldn't. At some point, the helicopters had to stop.
Potratz, Valdez, and the rest of their unit coordinated evacuations, manned the gates, and destroyed classified embassy documents. Eventually, they retreated to the rooftop, where they waited for hours before the final helicopter arrived for them. Potratz says from that vantage point, they could see how the city was unraveling below.
It looked like the end of the world, because I had never seen looting before, and they were literally looting the building that we were in, and they were looting the compound that we were in. People were running around, stealing cars, driving off. There was smoke, there were bombs all going off and everything, and it looked like the end of the world. Yeah, it was the death of the city. And then when we got on the ship, we found out later that they renamed the city Ho Chi Minh City. Yeah. So Saigon had died that day, died literally right in front of us, hours before the communists came into the city and renamed it. We saw it dying in front of us. I didn't think we'd ever go back.
But 40 years after the fall of Saigon, Potratz, Valdez, and other members of their unit are heading back to Vietnam. They'll place a commemorative plaque at the site of the former embassy to honor two fellow Marines who didn't make it back. Corporal Charles McMahon and Lance Corporal Darwin Judge were both killed in the final hours of the war. For Potratz, this trip is personal. His Vietnamese wife and 4-year-old stepdaughter were helped out of the country by Lance Corporal Judge.
And he was a special kid. He was my hero that day.
For the more than 7,000 people evacuated from the U.S. Embassy in Saigon in those 2 days, the Marines guarding the compound may have been thought of as heroes, but they came home to a country divided over the war, and Potratz says that was hard to handle.
Yeah, we were sad. Yeah, we were rejected as veterans, but it was a sad war. It was the first one we technically lost, and the Americans they just wanted to put it behind them. They just wanted to put it behind them, and I guess you can't blame it, but it's something that stays with you.
Patty Lane, KPBS News.